Well, gosh, I can't see
Yeah.
nothing.
You can't. You probably can't see it. I can see it on my end.
Mm-mm.
Hello to the fans of 210 Block Podcast. I'm Jordan, your host. Today we have Miss Ginni Mitchell coming and sharing her story. Um, Again, I'd like to thank the four women who did the panel last week and how that took the podcast to a different platform. So, Ginni, you got some big shoes to fill, but I know your
Mm.
story, your encouraging words to others who have been through and may go through what you've been through, like it be encouraging words. So give me encouragement to them. So thank you for tonight. I know you're a mom of how many little ones you got?
Three and a bonus, baby.
Three in the bonus. I love it. And so thank you for taking time out tonight to come sit and tell your story. Um, we want to go back. Let's go back to high school where we first met. We were just talking about this on the green room, how for 20 some odd years
Yeah.
Uh, she's known me as Patrick, so
So
it's
when our age,
amazing how, yeah, her nicknames come. I remember
mm,
just football practice at Collin County, just coming out to the practice field. We just happened to cross paths, and she like, you look like, and she was bold with it too. I never forget. She just like, you look like Patrick, and it just stuck ever since. Every day at football practice, Patrick this, Patrick that. Um, so she's always been cool with me. So she's always been I knew her name, after leaving home and just hearing about it, different things going on. So again, I'm just grateful that you have time tonight after you just said you got the children situated from volleyball practice. So appreciate you giving about an hour of your time. Let's take it back to high school. What year would you 05, 04?
supposed to be '05, but things happen and '06. I got both classes.
Don't feel bad. I'm
You
02 and
know,
03. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. So you get out in 06. What do you do after you graduate?
I became a mom in '06.
Oh,
So I finished in like January of '06, and I had my son in March of '06.
wow.
March the 1st of 2006.
And you graduated in May 2006.
I graduated early. Well,
Oh,
late,
okay. You got
late,
January.
but early for '06.
Yeah,
So I finished in like January.
January.
So
I'm sorry. You did
yeah,
say okay, okay,
yeah.
okay. So did you have a ceremony in January? Or you had to wait to May?
No, I didn't walk at all.
Okay,
I just got my stuff.
okay. Well, congratulations on finishing. You didn't let the pregnancy
Yeah.
stop you. You kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So '06 happened. The little one is
Yep.
born in March. Man, you a mom at what, 19?
Yep.
Wow. What was that like?
Uh, I had a great support. I didn't. I had my mom. My dad. He grew up where you shouldn't date to outside your own race at the time.
Mhm.
So I moved out at 17. Um, was back and forth. Lived with Dominique for a while. She's her and my husband were actually first cousins. That's how I met Chad.
Okay.
Um, so just back and forth, and then we got our first house together. We had four other roommates
Okay.
in '06, and then I ended up having my daughter in October of '07. We wasted no time.
Wow, man, y'all was busy. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So you're a mom or two before you strike 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just
Wow.
working at the time, just back and forth as a CNA. I went to, I was a CNA. I went through the very first pilot program at the VA here, and then I left there and went to Oakwood
Okay.
and did that until I had my last baby girl, who was born in 2012. She was born at 33 weeks, and then after that, I just stayed at home with her.
Wow.
I
That's
got
dope.
married in 2011, and then she was born in 2012.
Okay, then. That was a honeymoon baby. Okay, I got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have them.
hmm
Yeah,
She was
that's cool.
ooh, we weren't supposed to do this again right now, but surprise.
Yeah, that's surprise babies be the one.
hmm
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, that's how that happens. Okay, so you got married in 2012 to the great
No,
one and
11.
only
2011. Then I had,
2011. Then you had a
yeah, we
baby
had a.
2012,
Mm-hmm.
2011. Yeah, to Mr. It's Mr. Chad Mitchell,
Yep.
the one and only.
Yep.
Yeah, that dude. I remember. I remember the first memory I have of Chad. No, after we went to middle school and different things together. But I left when the boarding school came back. I never forget that day. That man had that not
Iguana.
iguana.
Yeah, it
Um,
was a
there's a
Savannah
iguana
monitor.
across. Yeah, hanging off his neck, man. I was like, this
Yep.
dude is different.
He
Yeah,
loved that. He loved that iguana. He used to take it in his
yeah.
pocket to school. They said.
Yeah. Did he just have the one, or did he just keep? Did he keep buying more? Just what was the
Well,
story behind that?
when I met him, he had a Savannah monitor and that iguana. That iguana, man, that thing, it would. His mom and them are older. His mom and them are 84 and 82. So they had
Okay.
him in their 40s. But their house, like she was born in that house, they grew up in that house. So like it would get really cold on the porch and his iguana like the sun in the window. And so like in
Yeah.
the wintertime it would get frozen, but then it would
Yeah.
thaw out and then it would be moving around. But he had a love for reptiles. He had reptiles ever since I met him, and then when he passed, we had 70 ball pythons that my son is taking care of.
Wow.
So throughout the course of our 20 something years together, we've had a wide variety of
Yeah.
reptiles and snakes and dogs. Anybody that knows Chad knows he loves dogs. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
we've had quite a few animals.
That's what I known him for. When I came back home and like, yeah, Chad was that dude when it came to reptiles and things.
Hmm.
That's a different type of love right there.
Yeah, he loves them, loved them.
Yeah,
People used
I
to say
don't see
that.
how.
Everybody that shares like early on memories with him is always about that iguana being in his pocket or in his
Yeah,
hand. He's trying to throw it on you, something.
he's a phenomenal guy. So you guys were married how many years in total now to this day?
To this day is 20 years and uh, 6 months.
Okay, 20 years. Man, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that in mind, with 20 years in, and just to hear the story you touched on it earlier, where your father was not a fan of interracial relationships, like how were you able to know how your daddy felt, but know that you was in love with a man that your daddy may not approved of, and yet still be able to make it for 20 years? Like what was your motivation? What kept you going?
Well, he didn't initially approve. My dad, I am a firm believer that hate is taught, and the only thing that can conquer hate is love.
Mhm.
So, my dad grew to have a relationship with him. They loved each other.
Yeah, that's cool. But how long did that take? Was it something right off the bat? Because Chad is an amazing guy. I just don't know your
Uh,
father. So, but how did that work?
my son bridged the gap.
Oh, okay.
He had a, I gave them a choice that if they were going to be in my son's life, they were going to love everybody or not see him at all.
Mm,
So
okay.
he bridged that gap for them.
Okay. That's cool. All
Yeah.
right, and that's what's up, man. I love to hear that.
I am
So,
a lot of people know, like a lot of people growing up, they knew my dad, but they didn't know like the demons he was fighting. My dad's been an addict since I was a teenager. Um, and it got really bad in his older years, like when we became adults and we moved away and went on with his life. He had to end up taking care of his dad who passed, and then his mom. He took care of her, and then she died too. And then after she passed, he just spiraled downhill. After that, he ended up moving. After my mom and him divorced, he ended up moving to Missouri, and he was in Missouri, and my youngest sister kept contact with him in and out, but again, he was an addict fighting his own demons, and you couldn't really tell him anything. So, him and I
mhm,
didn't talk for the last 5 years.
okay, man. My sister chimes in. She said she's sending you hugs.
Oh, thank you,
Um,
thank you, thank you.
yeah, man. Because it's man, just to hear that, like that's So for one, thank you again for coming on tonight, man, and just sharing your story, man. That had to be a hard pill to swallow,
Yeah, I
because
lost, and I lost
he
him
moved to
back to back.
Missouri.
Like I lost Chad in January, and then I lost my dad in March.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay. So
but
now.
But going back to like growing up, like I just, I had to make the decision for me. At the end of the day, like I didn't want him to dictate who I loved.
Hmm.
Chad and I, everybody has their little struggles. Like my son is 5 months older than my bonus baby. So
Hmm.
she was born in 2006 also. So it was
Okay.
Jaden, and then India was born in July, March and July. And then Chastity was born in October of '07. So they're bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
We got three real fast. So it was
Dang.
either it was either stick with it because I come from a traditional family. My mom stayed through everything. So
Yeah.
it was like stick it out and like stay with it and let him be in your kid's life or let him go. And it was just to me, I made the decision to fight for it,
Okay.
and
I'm
and that's
I'm
what we
glad you
did.
did. Yeah. So yeah, man. I'm grateful to hear this story, man, and know like you didn't give up. You know what you wanted, and you seen it through. So man, just that alone, man, said congratulations. Because now 20 years and 6 months later, you have a beautiful family. So Dominique says hello to you as well.
Hey Dom.
So yeah, so going through that, man, it's just life happening, man. I'm glad to see that you're still standing. Because it hasn't been an easy road. You could have made different choices, but I'm glad
Yeah.
and grateful you stuck with it, and now you get to see the fruits of your labor. Yeah. So yes, thank you. Yeah, you can inspire others.
Man, it's life, man.
Yeah, thank you. So 20 years in, 20 years, 6 months, Mr. Chad Mitchell. What is some things about Chad that you got to see that others didn't know?
Um,
What's that one
nice.
hobby or that one thing, like one TV show he used to, secretly watch a
Martin.
TV show? Huh?
Martin.
Oh,
Martin.
you love Martin?
I know verbatim everything, every episode of Martin. I remember us being teenagers and having my son, and I was like, what? Me, I was thrown into mom life and being with him. Like, you know, I got pregnant with my son. Like, if you go back to conception, we had only been seeing each other for a month, so it was like they were swimming. They were swimming. He played no games. So
Okay.
So I was still getting to know him at the time, and I knew he liked Martin, so I ended up buying him like the entire series of
Okay.
Martin and How High. I bought those series for him,
Okay.
well, like the movie or whatever, and like I have videos in my phone right now. Like he sat and watched Martin every day. I would come in and be like, why are we watching this again? Like, you done seen this episode. You know every word. You're telling
Yeah.
me Renum spoons. Like, you're telling me the words to the thing. Like, why are we watching it again?
Yeah.
But he loved Martin.
Okay.
Martin.
That's what's up. Okay. Everybody got that one thing, or that few things, but that's pretty cool. I'd have never pegged him as a Martin guy.
Oh, it's so sickening. So sickening. Like,
Yeah. So when y'all did some of the scenes, he was Martin and what was Martin's wife's name? Was it Gina?
Gina. Gina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That's
liked
very
to he
cool,
liked
man.
to do he liked to do Otis. That was his character. He liked to
Oh
do
yeah.
Otis. Oh, Dragonfly Jones. He used to do that one too.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Chad was a dope dude. Okay. That was that. I'd
But
have never guessed that.
people know he had a sense of humor, but they didn't really get to see like that side.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I remember him in middle school, man. Me and Chad cut up.
Yeah,
Man, we
class
used
clown.
to
That's all. Class clown. You
yeah.
was gonna get a laugh. You was gonna get a laugh.
Yeah. He's a good dude, man. So I did not know that. That's pretty dope though. Hidden gem. Martin, my dude like Martin.
Yep.
So okay. So your life is happening. You got your children growing, and then that unfortunate day happens. Like, what's going through your mind? Do you feel like it's unreal? Like, if you don't mind, because I talked to Mo about his wife passing. I was telling Mo, it's like difference between your situation and his. His wife been sick for a while. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he had time to prepare. You know, he heard the unfortunate news, like his wife tell him, like, "Look, baby, I'm tired." So he know what that
Yeah.
meant. You know, he
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
time to
Yeah.
prepare. You didn't have time to prepare,
Nope.
man.
I actually like the day was normal. Like I rode the 4-wheeler before he did. And when I brought it back,
Mhm.
I was like, "Hey man," like it almost threw me off. I was like, "Hey man, these brakes are a little touchy. You know,
Mhm.
there's something wrong with them. Like just be careful." My son rode it too, same day. I told him I was like, "Just be careful." We we ate lunch.
Take your time.
He came in the house. He was like, "I'm going to mama's house," because he go to his mama's house every day, every day.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay. So he's like one. You know his routine. He's only a couple of places. So my daughter's outside in the car, in the front with her boyfriend. They're sitting in the car talking like teenagers do. She's actually facing the way that he's leaving. And I remember she texted me at 2:42 and said, I could hear the 4-wheeler leave. And she said, "Hey man, tell your husband his butt crack hanging out." And I said, "That's his coolant system. Leave him alone." And I called him at 3:09 and he didn't answer the phone.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, he'll call me when he gets to where he's going. So about 5 o'clock hit, I called my son. I'm like, what y'all doing? Like, what y'all want for dinner or whatever? He was like, Daddy ain't over here. He didn't come to Naname house. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, let me call Twan. Twan's his nephew.
Yeah.
I said, let me call Twan. He was over there. I called Twan. He was like, Twan was like, no, Chad ain't over here. We've been waiting on him. He's supposed to show Julio how to ride a 4-wheeler. So I'm like, what? So I'm like calling. I called. I sent him a text message and I was like, we joke all the time. I'm like, man, what kind of shit you trying to pull? Where you at?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, what girl you talking to?
Yeah.
And he didn't respond. So I'm like, he did, he's somewhere running his mouth because Chad had to give the gab. He'll talk to anybody
Yeah.
for hours. He don't care what's going on. He gonna ignore that phone. So I'm just like, so then about 6:20 rolls around and I'm just like, I got this feeling. I'm like, something's not right. His mama calling like, did Chad come back over there? I'm calling Jaden like, I'm like, Jaden, go down the dirt road because his nephew lives um, off of Wickman. So I'm like, go down, Francis Street dirt road side, see if your daddy down there talking to somebody. So Jaden goes, he's like, no, mom, he's not down there. So I'm steady calling, no answer, no answer, no answer. So I'm like, Jay, something's not right. Like, go back, go slow. Like, something's not right. Find out where your daddy at. So probably like 2 weeks prior to that, I snuck and added him onto my family circle, like location.
Mhm.
And he found out. And he's like, I'm a grown man. Why you got me on here? You don't need to know where my location at. And I told him then, I was like, something might happen. Like, I need to know where you're at.
Mhm.
He took me off of it. So 6:30 rolls around. So I'm telling my daughter, my youngest is in the shower. I'm telling my daughter, I'm like, something's not right. So I log in to find my iPhone,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
it pings at the end of our street where the intersection is. So I live at the time we moved by. We lived off of Hampton, like right behind Hampton Street Auditorium. There's a church
Okay.
right there. That
Correct.
road
Okay.
that connects is called Brownlee, and we lived off of Wheeler Street.
Mhm.
So I called Chastity. I'm like, Chastity, like, your daddy done dropped his phone. That's why he's not answering. His other phone's in the room on the charger. I'm like, come on, let's go get this phone. It's getting dusk at the time. Come on, let's go get this phone. This is why he's not answering. Nobody knows where he's at because he's running his mouth somewhere. So we drive down and I'm hitting the thing. I'm like, roll down the window, listen for the phone. Like, let's see if it's in the road. So like I pull up on the location at the intersection. Our road ends, Brownlee starts, and there's a house directly across the street. So I pull
Mhm.
up to the location. I'm on the side of the road. We got our windows down. We're trying to listen. I'm like, Chastity, get out and see if you can hear it. I'm gonna call it. So she's like, I hear it ringing, mom, but it's back here. Well, back here is like, I'm thinking it's like the man's backyard.
Mhm.
So she's like, it's back here somewhere. It's back here somewhere. So I'm like, okay, I get out. I'm like, I see the tail lights. of the four-wheeler. And I was like, your daddy back here, he must be talking to somebody. And when I said that, my daughter walked up on him, face down in the dirt, and she said, Mama, Daddy's he's right here, he's hurt. And so I backed the car up and I pulled the lights on him and the four-wheeler sideways, and he's face down in the dirt. And I lift the jacket up and his head is busted wide open. And my daughter passes out. So I call my son and I'm like, he said I didn't speak English to him. So then I hang up on him and I call 911. I get my daughter out the dirt. She calls her brother. She's like, we found Daddy. He's hurt. My son makes it there before EMS, 911, anything. He's on the other side of town by Francis. He comes, he throws his car in park. And I'm like, Jaden, turn him over because I didn't feel a pulse. And he was like, he's still warm. He's still warm. So we turned him over. And when he turned him over, his head laid wide open. And I said, Jay, there's nothing we can do. He's like, don't say that. Don't say that. And my daughter hits the ground again. So I'm like, all right, Jay. I go and I feel he doesn't have a pulse. I'm like, take your sister home. And he's crashing out. And I grab him and I'm like, Jay, take her home. So he took her down the road. And at that time, the officer pulls up. And I can't cry at the time. I'm just in shock and I'm just mumbling. I'm not dressed. I have shorts on. I have no bra on. And I tell the man, I'm like, I need to go get my kid's situation and get dressed and come back. And he's like trying to get information from me. And I'm like, can you just please go see if you can find a pulse and then let me know? And so he goes and he comes back to me. He's like, let me talk to you. I was like, sir, just tell me. And he was like, he doesn't have a pulse. He's like, there's nothing EMS can do. I'm going to have to call the coroner. So I say, I got to go get my kids. I need to go get them situated right quick. I need to get dressed. So my car's in the yard. He's like, you can't take the car because it's, I said, I pulled it in there. It's not like he, whatever. So he was like, no, just leave it. So I walked down the road. We're like 5 houses down. Okay. I go get dressed and my neighbor grabs me. She said I didn't speak any English. And they're down there telling my, at the time, 12-year-old what's going on because she was in the shower. I get dressed and I come back. And by this time, the ambulance is there. Mm-hmm. Chad's cousin is on the scene. I don't know how people got there that fast. And then, they tell me they're like, he sustained really traumatic injuries. And he's no longer with us. The rest of it is kind of like a blur. Yeah. So many people showed up out the woodwork, and then my daughter was determined to get back down there. She just kept coming back down the road. So she came back down the road, and the corner van was pulling up at the time, and she hit the ground again. She passed out at least 5 times. So I had to get her boyfriend. I'm like, you got to get her. She's got to stay down there. And she's down there having panic attack. And I'm trying to keep Chad's mom from going back there because she's like, I need to see him. And I'm like, y'all don't want to see him like this. Y'all don't, you're in your 80s. You can't take that. His dad ends up going back there anyways. And we had to catch him. He slides down the side of the van. And I'm like, they're trying to push me out. And I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. I found him. I'm not going nowhere. And so Brandon was there, Grayson. And Brandon was like, just let her stay. He was like, just let us get him together. And I'm like, Brandon, I've already seen everything. Just, let me stay. Mm-hmm. So they get him. They, try and do what they can do. And they get him on the gurney and put him in the bag.
And what date is this? This is what?
New Year's Day.
The 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Okay. So Ginni is now went through that traumatic situation where I can see why, you're so emotional. And even in this moment, I'm pretty sure, man, that's something you seen your husband like that. Nobody thinks about seeing their spouse that way. So you go from wife, mom, now
widow.
You're a widow, mom. Yeah.
Wife to widow.
Yeah. So as January 2nd wake up, do you feel like it was a dream on the first? Like, all right,
I
this can't
never
be real.
slept. I never
You
slept.
never slept. You
Never
stayed up
slept.
the whole night. Okay.
And I told
Oh man.
my sister, everybody was there. And when she left, I set my kids down in the living room and I told them, I said, I don't know what we're going to do. I said, but we're going to get through this. We're going to
Hmm.
figure it out.
Yeah.
And I went in my bed and I laid on his side of the bed and I just screamed and yelled. And my
Yeah.
son went and took a shower and then he came back and I don't know if you ever seen my son. My son is 6'3", 250 pounds. And I was
Mm.
sitting in the living room on the chair on the recliner, just in a daze. And he came and he hit his knees and he started crying. And I didn't know what to do. We were just in there crying. And my daughter was so upset. She started automatically like, he's not gonna see me graduate. He's not gonna see me get married.
Mm. All this is the next day. So yeah, those emotions and feelings are
Yeah,
starting to show already. Okay.
yeah. When
Yeah.
then, well, that night we had to call my bonus daughter who lives in Florence, and they had to tell their sister that their daddy was deceased.
Mm.
And making that phone call was probably the hardest thing my son ever had to do. My son actually, the light pole in front of our house, he punched it and left a dent inside of it. My daughter had to get him out of his truck because he was ripping the steering wheel out of his truck.
For emotions, man. Man, that had to be one of the hardest meetings you probably have ever had to have as a mom, sitting them down, trying to, encourage them while you're trying to pour from an empty glass. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like you don't have nothing to pour, but you're trying to let your children know it's gonna be okay. Man, that's a sign of a phenomenal mom. So again, man, like I said, I live in Tennessee, and so I'm real close to Quentin Jenkins. You know that, Brandon boy. And so when I got the
yeah,
phone call, I was like, "Who?" Because you didn't want to believe it.
yeah.
And so
Andy,
I got,
Andy. So what happened is Chad left the house at 2:46. He wrecked immediately. My daughter said that he hit, he loves speed. He's been riding four wheelers since he was 13, 14 years old. This one was new. It was new to him. He was, working on a few things. But my daughter said that he left the house. He went through all the gears before he got to the road. And I only live about 200 feet from the intersection,
mm,
yards or so from the intersection. And she said, sitting in the car, now that she thinks about it, like he tilted on two wheels, but he set it back down. But how he went in the yard, like you couldn't tell.
yeah,
And
okay,
when I talked to the coroner, he said he had to have, from how his body looked now that I play it back, how the bike was, he tried to jump, but it caught him by like this much. And it caught him in the temple on the left side. He was facing, he jumped like almost in like a stand up Superman pose.
yeah,
And he caught the corner of the brick pillar and it cracked him like an egg all the way back. So to me, knowing him, he had just went to the doctor probably 2 weeks before. He was having some problems with a sciatic nerve in his back because he's a truck driver,
hmm,
and he was having some problems with his back. So to me, I know he's like, if I hit the cement, I'm gonna be hurting.
yeah,
So he thought that he could hit the little, like, it's like a little tiny little strip of woods in between. I wouldn't say woods, bushes, and like little trees in between a wire fence to
hmm,
somebody else's house, and he thought maybe that it would absorb it. But what it looked like happening, a tree got stuck in the handlebars and shot him forward into the
hmm,
bricks, and he waited too late to jump,
yeah.
and it caught him, and he just
Was it
slumped straight down.
was it like the bricks of it? It was like it's like not a corner of a house. It was, what was the
No,
brick?
so the guy's house has like those old iron fences that has like brick pillars, and then the fence
Oh, okay,
connects. Yeah,
okay.
like that. like that. And it
Okay.
actually chipped off where he hit at, because when we had to go over the stuff with like the police and stuff, the man pointed out that it was chipped off um,
Mhm.
in that area or whatever. And
Mhm.
he wrecked between 2:45 and 3 o'clock, and I didn't find him till 6:30.
Mhm.
So I went through the emotions of him laying down there
Yeah.
and not knowing.
Yeah. Man. So for 3 hours, you just thought he was out. Which I totally understand. You thought he was at his mom's or his friends, or he running his mouth. And I can.
Yeah,
That's I can relate to that. That's what people say about me. Like, yo, Joe don't answer the phone, he's talking to somebody.
yeah.
So I can understand that his wife for 20 years, you're like, he just running his mouth. Um,
And
and
he was
so,
no like he's lost his phone before, so I just thought I was gonna go down there, try to find his phone, and go to one of the three places he could be, and be like, "This why he wasn't answering it, because you dropped it."
yeah,
But it
not
wasn't.
expecting. Yeah, that was an outcome.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah. So January 1st, you don't sleep that night. January 2nd come. Now you gotta get the children situated, get you situated. Help his parents. The word is getting out that it's happened to Chad. And so even with all these raw emotions, like how did you get the strength, or it just
I
maybe
don't
it's a
know.
woman or mother thing to get to
I
the
don't
point
know.
where all right, now we got to plan a funeral. It
I
just
was I was a zombie. I was a zombie. The first 72 hours, I didn't sleep a wink. Andy came that same night, and Andy said, "Ginny, I didn't want to hear it from nobody else. I had to come, and you have to tell me this. You got to tell me this." Andy stayed at my house probably till about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning before we went in the house with the kids. We stayed outside. He was talking to Chastity. Chastity was going over and over and over it with him. And we just couldn't put it together, because anybody that knew Chad knew that he could ride a bike.
yeah,
Like, that took you out of everything was so crazy to us. But
yeah,
actually, on January, I went to his mom's house that same night. It was just, we were just all in a daze, and then I came back home. And then the 2nd of January, we were just like looking at each other and just stuck in the house. And my
mhm,
daughter, my youngest daughter, she said, "Mom, I want to go to basketball practice." And I said, "What?" She said, "I want to go to basketball practice." So my son's at his naname's house, and me and Chastity looking how we look. And I called, the coach. I called Coach Jones. Um, his he's a pastor. Well, he's not a pastor, but he is a pastor.
mhm,
I called him, and I'm like, "Hey, like, if we could just give the girls a head up, and we can, you know, uh, keep the questions at a minimum. We like to come. Lily just wants to play basketball." So he says, "Okay."
yeah,
So we go, we walk in the gym, and nobody says anything. It's like a normal practice. Lily goes, puts her shoes on, she practices, and I fall asleep, sitting up against the wall. And Jones is like, he told the other coach, he was like, "She feels safe."
yeah,
So I took a little cat nap in there, and then he was like, he wanted to talk to us, so he took us in the office with Lily, and he was just like, "You don't have to do this if you don't want to do this, whatever." But he wanted to. And
mhm,
then, oh, I can't remember the date. It was either the 3rd or the 4th of January. Lily played against um, Stratford and scored 15 points
okay,
in the game against Stratford. And everybody was just like in awe, because they were like, "This little girl just lost her daddy,
yeah,
and she's playing basketball. She's doing what she loves." And
resilient.
and now that we talk about it, she was like, "Basketball doesn't make her think. She just does it.
Hmm.
Track doesn't make her think. She just does it. It frees her mind of the world." So
Hmm.
that was her outlet. So she like poured everything into it. And so really, I just kind of went along with her. We rode her coattail, because it kept my mind off of everything. When we got
Okay.
home, it was back to reality. So like we were at the gym, and I told my sister, I was like, I don't want anybody to come to my house. I don't want anybody to call me. I don't want anything. Put everything at his mama's house. Put everything over there because I don't want nothing touched in here. And for 2 weeks, I didn't touch anything. I didn't touch his toothbrush. I didn't touch where he took his work clothes off the day before or whatever he wore the night before. Like everything stayed the same.
Hmm.
Nothing was touched. Nothing was touched at all.
Man, man, that's emotionals, man. That's I'm glad, y'all had a opportunity to ride her coattail to get through that emotional time of her playing basketball. Her scoring 15 points be something you never forget. Her, finding that peace on the court. And so, like you said, it's a good thing you had that mental break where I'm glad you had to take, your body was tired. Like you said, the coach said you were comfortable in that peace. So you was able to take a cat nap, for the first time in a few days. And so, because now, like, it's a few days has happened. So now we got to prepare to say our final goodbyes. Those those conversations nobody wants to have,
Yeah.
colors and church and time and
Well,
so but
and
now
that's the thing. Like, um, I went alone.
okay.
I sat in there, and Miss Erica was so sweet, and she took her time with me. And I'd never done it before. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't ask for any help. I just went and I picked what I picked, and I did what I did as his
Yeah,
wife, and got everything in order. He had I had a policy, and he had a policy, and paid for
yeah,
everything. And the hardest part, I think, was going to pick an outfit out
yeah,
and buying his hat.
yeah. Because you knew that was the last outfit. Yeah, that this is it, the final
And
our
like his
final
mom and
goodbyes.
them had like opinions on, oh, put him in this and put him in that, and they knew him, but they didn't know him how I knew.
Yeah, I understand. As a wife, you wanna, and even as a husband, Mo had to go through the same thing. His wife, where he had to make those difficult decisions. People had opinions, but he knew Dorothy better than anybody else. That was the mother of his children. So
Well,
I
and
get
then
it.
that's what I told the lady when Miss Erica, when we were playing. I said, and I told her in there that same day. I said he won't come back and haunt me for no mistake
Yeah,
that I made.
yeah,
I'm gonna do what I know he want, and I don't care what nobody else got to say because he ain't gonna come ride me in my
yeah,
sleep about what I didn't do, and I know better than that. And
yeah,
that lady she looked at me and she gave me a little laugh, but like that's how I got through it. Like I had to think
yeah,
about like in the back of my mind what he gonna say to me.
yeah, yeah. I feel you. So yeah. So again, man, salute to you going through that whole process. Then doing it alone, that takes a massive amount of encouragement and will to get that done. And so that day finally comes, and then everybody do their final goodbyes. Like like this is it. Like how does Miss Mitchell continue to put the next foot forward, knowing after that? So the next day happens. Like was it? I'm assuming the funeral may have been on what day of the week was the funeral on?
It was on January 11th. It was a Saturday.
So Saturday,
So
so Sunday, so
Chad
Sunday,
is the
Monday.
baby of 11, so we had to wait on everybody to
Wow.
come in. His siblings, he has two that preceded him in death, and we just had to wait on everybody to get here, and like it was a whole week leading up into the funeral. That
Mm,
Wednesday before the funeral, Miguel cleaned him up enough and they got everything stable back together and enough to give my daughter that last image of him, so she didn't have to remember him the way she found him.
mhm,
And we do the funeral. His mom had some very strong opinions in the family van on the way home afterwards, and I politely told her I really didn't care, and I didn't go back to her house for 3 or 4 weeks after that.
Yeah. That's a time of high emotions, and
Yeah.
yeah, everybody processes differently. It's just sometimes as family, we create situations where we don't have to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I get it. You lost your son, you lost your husband. You know what I'm saying? So there's better ways to handle things. Hopefully,
You
like
know,
now, back in hindsight, we can. Is the relationship better? Have you been over there? Like you've been
yeah. We
okay.
we we're still the same. Oddly enough, in November, I started a pilot program with the school district, and it's for behavioral health. So I was learning different things and how people project during different times. So
Mm-hmm,
when she started it, I was like, okay, you're projecting because of your own feelings and things like
mm-hmm,
that. So I just, respectfully told her that, even though we disagreed on things and had different points of view, this is how I did it. And that's just that. Like, respectfully, it wasn't your decision. I had to do that. And
yeah.
so that's what I did. And then, I didn't go for a while because I just needed time to. I told my kids after the funeral, I sat them down, I said, you know, school started back on the 7th. I said, I'm going to give y'all 2 weeks, but we're going to learn how to pick ourselves up in these 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm,
And we're going to go back to school and we're going to face this head on because there's there's nothing that we can do. Like,
mm-hmm,
we're going to
yeah.
have to learn how to carry this a little differently in our chest and just hold our heads up and do it. And
Mm-hmm,
Lily, my youngest, never cried until the funeral.
mm-hmm,
She just kept pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. She cried at the funeral, and then that was it. She didn't cry again. Like, but I did notice she started to like isolate some. She wasn't as
mm-hmm,
social as she normally was because she's my social butterfly. My daughter Chastity, my oldest girl, she's always been kind of isolated, but she fell into like deep depression.
mm-hmm,
And my son took everything on his back as he was the man, and he just kind of pushed through. He had to pick up
yeah.
and fill shoes, and
Yeah.
that's what he did.
Yeah. Man. So so this happened. I need to say January the 11th. So this is
Mhm.
last year. It's over a year ago.
No, this is 2025.
This past New Year. Okay. So
Yep.
we okay. So January gonna be a year. Okay. Okay. I
Hmm.
don't know why I thought it was much longer than that. I apologize.
Uh-uh.
Okay. So now that everybody's okay, this is our new reality. Dad is gone. My husband gone. Like day to day, how we doing? How's your
Minute by
son?
minute.
How's
We
everybody?
go, we go,
Hey,
we go, we go hour by hour sometimes.
okay.
Um, it definitely hits in waves. I cry every day still.
Yeah.
Multiple times a day. My kids joke now. They're like, "Oh, mom's crying again." My daughter, I had to really have a reality check with her. Like, me and her, I had to like get in her face and scream at her because she was letting everything consume her. She already suffered with OCD and anxiety prior to this. She's just wired a little differently. Um, and I had to like really get in her face and say like, "This is what we're doing. This is what you got to
Yeah.
do. You got to pick yourself up because I can't let you, you know, succumb to this. Like, you got to figure out this is not what your daddy would want you to do. He would not want you to
Mm.
be consumed with these emotions like this." And she started grief counseling in June.
Okay.
She
Okay.
started grief counseling. They diagnosed her with PTSD, depression, severe anxiety, but she's a couple months in and she's becoming more social. She could talk about it without crying now. We
Okay.
still play different scenarios in our head because we still fully can't fathom how things happen and stuff. We talked about it today because she's like, "Mom, how you gonna do on this podcast? You gonna be in front of
Yeah.
all these people crying? Like, how you gonna do this?" And I'm just like,
Right.
I gotta figure it out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's just I don't know. Like, my youngest recently had her first panic attack, and I asked her, what was wrong. This is during during the time where it's like dead week. So she's
Mm-hmm.
out the gym. There's a week of just sitting before school goes back. She can't touch a ball. She can't get in the weight room. She had her first panic attack. We was in the drive-through, and she takes her shirt off. She's in her sports bra, and she's in front of the AC. She's like, "I can't breathe." And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Daddy's gone."
Mm,
And I said, Lily, you have to feel. You've been shutting it down for too long, and this is how it manifests. You gotta feel. You gotta be okay with it. It's okay to cry. Like, you gotta be okay with it. So she's learning how to uh, regulate her emotions, but she's just, I don't know. She's good at everything. So like, she plays basketball. She runs track. She's done trail riding. She just made a dance for the trail ride community. She just, she's got over 5 million views on all platforms right now for her dance. Like, she just, man. And we really use her because that kid is the definition of resilience.
yeah. And this is the baby girl.
Mm,
Okay. Dominique said you're doing a wonderful job. You're so brave. Yeah. So people are, oh, what happened? Can you still see me?
yeah.
There it goes. I don't know what my screen just did. But yeah, like I was just thinking about that too, man. Just going through what you went through, man. Just the tragic death of Mr. Chad, everybody's friend. I don't think that man had one enemy. Um, and just now, like I said, I don't know why I thought this was like a year ago, but now it's
Mm,
it's just yeah, we're approaching. We're in August now. Just happened in January, and your daughter, like I said, she processed a little differently. But I'm glad she did. The panic attack in a controlled environment with you.
yeah.
Realizing this reality, like that ain't coming back.
What's
Um,
really crazy is like January, everything happened. February is my wedding anniversary.
mm,
March is my birthday, and then the week after my birthday, my dad had surgery, and then he passed 5 days later.
mm,
So it was just, it was Chad gone, wedding anniversary, my birthday, my dad gone. So it's just bam, 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 all in a row.
yeah, man. And yet you're still here,
Yeah.
being a, being a phenomenal mom, being strong for your children. And I would like to ask you in this moment, like going through your emotions, let somebody who may be going through the same thing or who may watch this podcast after a year or two away from now, like what do you have an encouraging word for that wife or husband who will be wearing the same shoes you're wearing now?
Allow yourself to feel it, take it all in, feel everything. Like, I that's the only thing I can say. Like, I just I don't know. Like, I don't really have no words. Like, everybody always says, "Oh, it'll be okay. It'll get better." No, it'll never be okay. I'll just learn how to cope, and I'll learn how to carry it, and I'll learn how to deal with it differently. But it never will be okay. And that's the one thing that I I've learned through this process is everyone always says, "I'm so sorry." I'm sorry too. So let's not
Mm,
say that because you have no idea what it's like to check that box on them taxes for the first time that says widower.
yeah,
You have no idea what it's like to sit on a phone call with Social Security and tell them that he's gone.
yeah, man,
It's just feel it, take it all in, let yourself grieve on your time.
yeah,
Don't let nobody put you in a box. Don't let nobody tell you how or when or a time frame of anything because I went back to work and then it became super overwhelming and I had to leave where I had to step down for almost 2 months because it was just the first day I came out of school. I had to put on a face for the kids first of all because I deal with elementary and I'm in special needs, so they have all kind of questions. And then I come out and my daily routine was to get in the car and call him,
mm,
and I can't call him.
yeah. It's those little things people don't think about. I didn't even think
And then,
about that.
yeah, then you hear a song or a
Yeah,
smell.
yeah.
two
I
days
seen that you.
ago, two
Yeah,
days
I saw
ago, I
that
don't know
post.
why I did it. I don't know why. And I said, Lord, now I got to get on this podcast in 2 days, and I don't know how I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I saw that post that you smell his cologne. You was like, you don't know why you did it. But like
Well,
I said, I think all that.
I have a shelf in my house where I vacuum sealed his clothes from the accident. I have his toothbrush, his deodorant he was using,
Yeah,
his belongings out of his pocket, everything's kind of just there
Yeah.
because so and also in January after my dad died, my son bought a house and I bought a house.
Yeah.
And so my son bought a house at 19. He got a CDL 6 days after his daddy passed. They were trying to
Yeah.
reschedule it, and he was like, "Mm-mm." In my head, my daddy's saying, "Go get it, go get that shit, Jay." So that's what I'm gonna go
Yeah.
do. I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah.
So he went and got it in January. January the 6th, he tested and got a CDL, and
That's dope.
we just kind of been rolling with the punches, man. And that's the only thing I can really say. And like I've had a few people reach out to me. I had a lady. I'm not gonna call the lady name, but she lost her son a year ago, and she called me on Facebook Messenger one day, and she said, "You don't know me like that, but I've been watching your story, and I don't know who else to call who's gonna understand me." But she wanted to kill herself, and she called me. And I pretty much talked to the lady and told her that, can't nobody tell you you're going to be okay. I can't tell you you're going to be okay. You're never
Hmm.
going to be okay. But you can't end it because imagine how he's going to feel about you doing that.
Yeah.
Because, I grew up in the church, but when things hit you, you start to question things. And I told her, I said, if there is a heaven and you take your own life, you're not never going to see him again.
Hmm.
So let's hold on for him. And I gave her the information from my daughter's grief counselor. And she said she's going to reach out and she's going to get grief counseling. And I also told her, I was like, if you ever feel like this again and you just need a vent, you have my phone number now.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can help you, but I'll cry on the phone with you and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it and we'll get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty of it. There's no cookie cutter process. That's why
Mm-mm.
day you able to get through it. And then even in the midst of your struggles day to day, trying to be a mom, and like I said, just thinking about the tax form you got to fill out, like hearing a song that Chad used to love, or flipping through the channels that Martin is on, and all these different things, and music, come on, he loves. And even in the midst of this, you was able to encourage someone. People are watching, and seeing you, like how you handle with your children. And like I said, I see it from afar, and that's why I say I'm so grateful that you decided to come on tonight and talk to me, man, because it's like my girl is doing it. And other people think the same thing. Like BL said, you're super strong, and Angela Jenkins said, but God, and BL, he went through the same situation, similar, with his wife as she buried, her older sister and her mom 4 months apart. So he understands like how you went from burying your husband to your dad. So your story is echoing, and people can relate, and you're very encouraging to show like Ginni can do it. Okay, girl, I can do it too, because they see that you didn't give up. You have every opportunity. Like you could have just folded, stopped dealing with those children. You could have bought a house in another state and moved your children, but you stayed there in Walterboro while your memories are. So as a friend to a friend, I'm proud of you. Keep going. Like I laughed at your post, and like, why did Ginni smell like cologne? But
But
but you're trying, you're healing in the process.
oddly enough, and like, maybe he felt like I needed to smell. I
Yeah,
remember Star told me because I went on Vernon's little thing with them one night. I was bored. It was probably about midnight. Went over
yeah,
there. I sat in the cut. I don't even say nothing. But Star and I talked, and everybody's like, oh, 20 years is a long time, but it's really just like a drop.
yeah, yeah.
And Star was like, you got to experience true love starting at 17,
Mhm.
where people are already just still fighting to try and find it.
He's correct. Yeah, yeah, man. Take your
So
time
that made me
healing.
look at things differently. Like
Yeah,
when Star told me that, I started to take it in differently because I was like, everyone's like, oh, 20 years, that's so long. Y'all been together forever, forever, forever. And to me, it was like, that wasn't enough.
hmm,
But
yeah.
she was
You
like,
want
you
you want
you got
another
to
20 years.
experience genuine love at a young age where
Yeah,
17, 18, 19, having kids, you know,
yeah,
you don't really stay with those people that we grew up together. We grew up learning how to be parents together. We seen each other through everything. Like from me being with Chad, I experienced death of a family in a drive-by. I experienced his aunt passing away in a house fire, his brother driving and having a heart attack during driving and passing away. Like I had to see him through all of that.
Mm,
Through all of that, and he was there in my corner. My dad, I had my dad going through stuff with him, and him being an addict, and him and my mom getting divorced, and him helping me get my sister out of a domestic violence situation that she was in for years and getting her children out, to him helping get my cousin into rehab, and she's been clean going on 4 years now. Like,
mm,
you know, we're from two different universes, but kind of
yeah,
one and the same.
yeah. It worked for 20 years.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, on my page, if you see the flower arrangement, it's a dog. And it says my dog for life on it. And Scooter sent that to me, young
Yeah,
Scooter. And then I had to turn around and send an arrangement back when he
mm,
passed.
yeah,
And I sent him the same message, my dog for life, because
yeah,
they were.
yeah,
And it's just crazy that, and I reached out to his mom, and his mom reached back out to me. It's just crazy that he was there. Scooter was there during the time that Chad passed and sent me arrangements and stuff, and then I had to turn around and do it in March
yeah,
for him.
yeah,
And the passing of my dad. Like, it was a lot, man.
yeah,
I, and it's all a blur because I don't know how the heck I did it, but
yeah,
I just,
yeah,
life be life.
yeah. You didn't give up,
I
man.
wanted to. I
Yeah,
contemplated it a lot.
yeah,
I
yeah.
contemplated a lot, but January of last year, Chad lost his niece to suicide, and
Mm,
so
yeah,
like they lost her January 31st. So, like, then they lost Chad this year, and then her year anniversary came up, like, right afterwards.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just it's definitely been a whirlwind roller coaster, to say the least.
Yeah. Man, just me just hearing it, and it's beauty as you talk through it. This is another form of therapy where you're just talking through those emotions, man.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
yeah, so I'm grateful you came and talked to me because you hit on so many points I never thought about. As losing your spouse and different things like that. How you going from January into now it's August, and less than a year, and you still continue to push through. Especially for you and the children. And I saw the recent success of one of your daughters on social media. I know, like I said, you mentioned earlier the trail ride dance and the different things. So, after you went through that valley of, and you're still going through it, but you can see, like, okay, there's some positive things going with my daughter. Not only get recognition from basketball and track, she's also in a different atmosphere with this social media thing. So, yeah, like I said, things are turning around. Man, I'm proud of you. Like, you didn't give up. Like, you got a support system. You know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful to be a friend, to be able to give you a platform to talk about it, to encourage yourself through the process and others. So yeah, man.
I don't
Man,
know, like, who's out there who's listening, but I want to start a nonprofit for ATV helmets
okay,
in honor of Chad. I've
okay,
tinkered with this a lot. I just haven't had the opportunity to, like, really, like, put my plan in motion. So if there's
yeah.
anybody out there that can help, that can maybe give me a little, you know, education on how to, go about doing it, or helping me along the
Yeah.
way, I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh,
Since
for
I'm
sure.
a
Well, you know
girl.
what? Let's do it. I'll be with you hand in hand. Angela, she just started a business. I have actually, it's funny you said it because I have a nonprofit that I had for a while. So I know people that got connects. So yeah, let's um write the
I
plan, make it plain, and then we're gonna come beside you and get this thing going, man. So we
That's
can,
definitely one thing. One thing I want to do is advocate for ATV safety, because
yeah, let's do it. That's where your heart is. So you wrote it. I'm pretty sure you wrote a plan. We could talk about it off air. Show me what you got. I'll point you in the right direction. Get some funding going. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So now the adults and the youth of Collin County will have
yeah,
helmets as they ride. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So yeah. Hey man, listen. Anything I can do to help, I definitely will. Yeah, man. I'm excited. Yo, yeah, you just opened up a whole new can of worms.
Let-
My brain is over just erasing. You know what I'm saying? I really want to give you some help, man. That's what we need. Is saying something like that because you witness it firsthand. So um
Yeah, because
then
he definitely,
let's do it.
Chad's been a street racer or ATVs for a long time. He's
Yeah.
The one he wrecked on. I got rid of immediately, but he had 7. I still got him.
Wow.
He was an avid collector of many things:
Okay.
firearms, 4-wheelers, and reptiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Before we get off, man, I can't believe you've been on this thing an hour, girl. Before we get off, as I know, like I have some friends of mine that are teachers, and I, talk to children all the time. They have this idea and goal to be an influencer, and I know your daughter, like you say, she's racked up so many views. Like, what can you tell parents you've learned? Like, what parameters have you put in place? Because this is like your youngest daughter, so she's very
Yes,
young. I don't, what's her age?
13.
She's wow, she's 13. So getting all this recognition, like as her mom, like, and as parents are doing the same thing. What can you encourage parents to do for their children to be able to not go down the same roads, or what have you put in place to keep your daughter? Because there's some predators out there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's some,
So
yes, it's what have you been
this is
doing with
still
your
it's
daughter?
still kind of new to us, but everything goes through me. So her first video that blew up big on Facebook was off of my Facebook page.
Okay.
So she got like 3.2 million views on it off of mine, just posting it publicly. And I try not to tag her social media in those posts.
Hmm.
So when I share, I will tag her TikTok because her TikTok is it's an open platform. She does a lot of her dancing on there, some of her
Okay.
basketball stuff on there. But her Instagram is starting to get um, a lot of traction. She's gained 5.5K followers in like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So, and that video has a 500,000 views on it on Instagram. So what I've done is like, she's not allowed to read any comments. She does
Okay.
so nobody can message her on Instagram unless she follows them back in their friends. So they can't just openly send her messages.
Okay.
She's not allowed to read any comments. I go through them. I see what they say, but I could give a care less. Just I just was like them just to show some type of reaction. Some of them, like if they're asking questions about like what's the name of this song, but I never give like location. We had to delete somebody off of TikTok the other day that gave a location where she did a dance at that she posted because it's like right up the road from our house.
Yeah.
um but just filter it, like my daughter's video. You wouldn't think she's 13 in it, but I know. I recorded it. I know the situation. I know the people that were in it. So like it can look one way as a persona on social media, but I know what's going on in my child's in a safe environment at all times. Like she's doing what she loves, but it's really like a learn as you go kind of process. But the main thing I could say is don't read any comments. It doesn't matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
You know what it is. Do
Okay.
not let anything that they say defy who you are because you know who you are.
Okay.
So that's the
Okay.
biggest thing I tell her. I'm like, Lily she's like, I don't know. Lily's just built different, man. I don't know what it is. Ever since she was little, people always say she's had an old soul. She sit and she drink coffee with the old people and dip her little biscuit in the coffee, and she just kind of roll with the punches, man. She's a different kid.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this, because I got all boys. I
Mm.
got that's it. I don't have I
Knucklehead,
have nieces
knucklehead.
like Amber. Like I consider Amber daughter, my own daughter and my sister. I got like, so it's three of them I claim as my own. So you
Hmm.
you hit on you said something that kind of caught my attention. You said there's a persona of her, then there's her safe space. Like, what's the difference between the two?
So
I'm just
So I had a phone call when the video first went viral from a family member that's like, they know how old Lily is. So like they're just like she's dancing with a grown man in the video. Granted, I took it for that reason. It looked like that, but this man is 4 or 5 feet behind her. It doesn't look like it. He is though.
mhm.
This is somebody who has a 70K following on Instagram who solely invited her for the purposes of content
Okay.
to this specific trail ride. So we were filming content, but to the eye just viewing it, they're thinking that you know, oh, she's dancing with a grown man. They make their own personas up in their head, other than what it
Okay.
actually is. So
Okay.
like, let them think whatever they want to think because that's the That's how you market it. That's how you get the views. They gonna send it to somebody and say, "Look at this." Look at that. And
Mhm.
before you know it, you got 3 million views. And she getting a paycheck that she didn't even know she was getting.
Okay.
So like, it looks one way, but it's not that way. If that makes
Okay.
sense. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
how you market.
I mean,
You just market
yeah,
yourself.
they always says sexy sells. You know what I'm saying? Like again,
Yeah.
I don't have any daughters. I can't, what I'm saying, speak on that part. Like I said, I know I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying. You look at the thing, like you say, you look at it from
Yeah.
different views. What a case and be. But yeah, like people people say it all the time about me in my pocket. You need to do this. I say, bro, that ain't my lane. I'm like a
Yeah.
tortoise. I'm learning as I'm growing. I don't do this for monetary gains. I do it to
Yeah.
give people opportunity to
Yeah.
talk. If I could be up here all day with my shirt off, seeing tattoos and going back and forth with guests for content, but I don't want to. That's not what I
Yeah.
want. I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
have a positive, show. And like I said, just thinking about, like I'm gonna have to go back and watch the videos. I just
Yeah.
know from the posts you share that I see, because I'm not real big on social media because there's other things I give my attention to. But like I did see the post. It was some things you hop on, and I did see it. So now I'm gonna go back and do some research and look at these videos.
Yeah, I
But like I said,
ultimately, this video went viral. It got her some exposure. She ended up choreographing a dance that's going viral now. She's got upwards of 20,000 views on that. It's slowly treading, but her ultimate goal is to, by the time she gets to high school and gets going with her basketball career, that this will open different doors for her for
okay.
brands and marketing and things like that. So it's not checkers, it's chess.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give her a
So
210 Block podcast T-shirt away while she out there trail riding.
yeah, yeah. Hey, when she went viral, her coach texted me. He was like, "Hey, can you put the Give Butter link out there so these people can donate some money to the program?" And I'm like, "Whoa,
Yeah,
slow down, slow down, slow
yeah, and
down."
that's dope, man. When you have somebody from a small town, especially out of town, doing something that gain notoriety in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just pray as her mom, you continue to be the covering, the protection and guidance you need. Like I say, man, because there's some dog eat
Hey,
dog world
I'm
out here
gonna
in this
tell you,
world, man.
them trail rides. I'm right there, and if they talk too long, I'm like, "Hey, what you asking?" She's 13. What
Yeah,
you need to know? What you want to
yeah,
know?
yeah. Yeah, continue being that fence for her, man, because it's very important. Before I hop off, back to your nonprofit, Angela says vision can be reality. So I get her on board too. So yeah, man,
Hey,
we love what you
let's
got
work.
going
Let's
on.
work. Let's work.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Ain't no reason we can't. There's nothing gonna stop us. You got to go. Let's make it happen. So by next year,
I told my kids, I said, y'all are the legacy. That legacy's gonna live on. We're gonna make sure that name lives on.
yeah. So by his anniversary, we can have our first giveaway. Let's do it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But man, thank you again. That's Miss Ginni Mitchell, man, the widower of 20 years of amazing love. You hear her story, see her passion, how much she loved, man. There's only one Chad Mitchell, the only black man that I know that ever loved iguana. So he was definitely different. I ain't never seen her like it since him. Continue being a phenomenal mom, Jenny, to your beautiful children, your 4 beautiful children. If you ever need me, I'm here. Again, I'm just thankful that you allow yourself this time to come on this podcast, this platform, and share your story, Miss Jenny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we do. Where your battery at? I knew it was about to die earlier.
Oh no, I'm plugged up to the charger. I had to get an extension cord. I got an extension cord. I plugged that thing up and propped it up. I got it
Yeah.
propped up on the box. We're doing
Okay.
good.
And please let your son know too, man. We are proud of him for finishing his CDL during that tough season. Being 19,
Yeah,
buying
yeah,
on the
yeah.
CDL. That's unheard of. So let him know, man. We are extremely proud of nephew.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. His daddy always told him, "I was in the streets, so you ain't gotta be now. We gonna do what we gotta do."
Yeah, I love it. Mr. Chad Mitchell.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Miss Jenny.
All right. Have a good night, Patrick.
All right.
Bye.